Is that from Yerushalmi? Said it was Terumos. In the article, Ozva other edition, when Daf Kaf Ches Amral, the second line, the last word in line is Al Daite. In the Vilna, it is Daf Tes Vav Amud Beis, and it is the the fourth line from the top, and it's also last word in line is Al Daite. And our line should be as close for Achena Kobe Sel Sunim Batzav Shavya and the Milcham against the Torah Osonu Yamach Shemam Zichram. So Al Daite Rabbi Akiva. According to Rabbi Akiva and our Mishnah, said that Truma Shteim Truma, the Truma, both the Shutim is Truma. So according to Rabbi Akiva, Seah Sharishon, the Seah of the first Shutaf, Chetzio Truma, V'Chetzio Tevel, Tavul, it says Lemaisris in the Gemara. The Kavanaki, I assume others change it, La Ko. And the Gra and the Rafulda both change it according to the Rash. Okay, so the according to Rabbi Kiva, the first one is again Chetzia is Truma Ganze. The second half is Tevel, both for Truma and for Meiser, because when he did the Truma of the Saw, half of it really should have been was his friends, and he had in mind to fulfill to take off to be masaking his friend's grain. But since his friend did not allocate that or did not give him that responsibility, so that truma is nothing and becomes tevel in terms of even truma itself. Okay, so that's so truma sesh rishon chetzi truma chetzi tevel tevel akol. No, it's not it's as if he didn't do anything. Sesh sheni, the second shutaf. Chetzi truma, half of it is truma. That's for his portion. V'chetzia tevel tavel lemaisrus. It says here lakol. It should say lemaisrus, only for maisrus, because truma is already taken off, right? So because truma I was supposed to put this. The half of his saw. His half I saw he's fixing now. The second half that he was taught him in order to fix his friend's chelek, well, the first one's chelek is already fixed, right? And including this half saw for the purpose of truma, but not for the purpose of maisrus. Lo tzucha da dila. In other words, as we always say, that means da. Ella, we don't need this. In other words, that's pashut. But this is the following. We need to grab the following case. Chatzi seishel sheni, the half of the sale of the second. In other words, that he set aside for his truma, and in order to fix all of his chelik, maushit v'chatzi seishel rishon, meaning the half se'ah that the first one picked on account of his shutav, that remains tevel, right? What about the half saw that the second guy takes off in order to fix his entire portion, as he said previously, or perhaps there is not included in this tikkun the chatzi saw which was separated without his intent and is not in front of him. Very complicated the way the Kavanaki explains it. So let's try and do it outside. So again, not outside the Kavanaki. Al Daita Rabbi Kiva, I'm going back to the beginning of the passage. Al Daita Rabbi Kiva, Seah Shel Rishon Chetzi, Truma Chetzi, Tevel, Tavel, Leko. Half of the Seah, the first guy, half of it is Truma, and half of it is Tevel. It's Tavel altogether. It was worthless. It did nothing. Seah Shel Sheni, the Seah of the second guy, Chetzi Truma, half is Truma, that was his part. The Chetzia and the other half, which he attempted to take off for his friend, Tevel, Tavel, lemaisrus. It's not tevel for truma because his friend already took off truma and it's chelik, but nobody took off maisrus yet. So therefore, it's still tevel for in terms of meiser. Meiser still has to be taken off. So truma has been taken care of. For maisrus, we still have to deal with. Okay, that's Pasha, says Gemara. Lo tzurcha da di la. Chatzi seah shel sheni. The half a seah of the second guy, mao shetiftar chatzi seah shel rishon. Does the half a seah of the second guy, does it help for the half a seah that the first guy took off, which was ineffective? Do we say that half a seah? Well, he took it off his friend, so his 10 take of Truma should work for that as well. Or, no, it's his. Reuven. Reuven took it off for Shimon. It didn't work for Shimon. But when Shimon takes off from his, another half a saw, does it work for Reuven's half, the second half of Reuven's saw that he took off? Because after all, although it was really, Reuven should have taken it off for himself and not for anybody else, he should take the proper amount for himself, but maybe he opened it up now for Shimon's half a saw to work and be the truma on his. I wonder if there's a diagram here. There is it. Okay, so Nishmini Medo. So let's resolve from here. Ariston Aiste Pere. Ariston was in somebody's name, brought fruit in order to take truma out of them. The shear goes saka. And when he emptied his sack in order to take a truma, a little bit shir goes saka. He left a little bit in the sack without being aware of that. V'tarman, he took off truma, but he didn't realize that he's take off truma on what's left in the sack. So is it effective or not? He said, even though he didn't have in mind, it's chazaka that the truma works on everything which it belongs to him, even what remained in the sack. So here too, since he knows that the other half of the tvua, which Reuven took off, which he shouldn't have taken off, really is his, the Shimon's. So he's trying on his own stuff, no matter where it is. I feel compelled to repeat this again. Sorry. If you understood it till now, well, don't need a chazar, I apologize. Again, we have Reuven and Shimon who are shutfim. Reuven took off a full saw as truma. He should only taken off half. Half was really Shimon's responsibility. Okay, so what the second half that Shimon took off is meaningless. It's nothing. It's stam tevel. Okay, now Shimon takes off truma also of full saw, and he should only have taken off a half for his chelik. Fine. Okay, so the second half, which he took off, we should not have taken off. It's already has been addressed in terms of truma by Reuven, because it was really Reuven's chelik. The question now is the second half of Reuven, the half which Reuven was not authorized to take off, it took off anyway. The Shimon's truma, half of his which was effective truma, also encompass the half a saw that Reuven took off inappropriately, corresponding to which should have been Shimon's responsibility. And the more resolved and says yes, because when just like the person takes a truma, even though he doesn't realize there's the stuff left in the sack, the truma takes effect on on whatever's left in the sack. So too, the truma that Shimon takes off, even though he doesn't realize necessarily that has to take effect on the half a saw, which Reuven illicitly designated as truma. Nevertheless, that's his das, and it take effect on whatever it has to take effect. And in fact, that is the case. That we assume that he was Torem on everything on which the truma need be taken. Okay, so now the Mishnah had gone on and said that Rabbi Yossi Omer Im Torem Rishon Geshir ain't truma so sheni truma. The first guy took off the shear, the second guy's truma is nothing. If it wasn't, then truma so sheni is truma. Rabbi Yossi Omer Chule, it's the header in the article of Ozvadar and in the Kavanaki. Don't know if the header appears in the Vilna. No, it doesn't. So, what is the status? Kashir Torah? Is that like the Shir Torah? No, there is no Shir Doraisa by Truma. But the Shir, which we associate, which we call it as if it's Doraisa, is 1/50th, which is the standard measure, right? So when we say Kashir, the first thing Kashir, we talk about Shir Torah, which is 1/50th. O Kashir Chavrein is like the Shir of the Rabbanan, which is either 1/40th or 1/60th. Chazal said, Mida Ayin Yofa is 1/40th, Ayin Ra is 1/60th. So when is the what do we do? The Rabbi says first the take of Kashir, second one's not valid. So does he mean 1/50th or does he mean also 1/40th and 1/60th? Kashir Torah. If you're going to say that that Rabbi Yossi is talking about specifically when the Ruvain took a 1/50th, lace Rabbi Yossi krabana. Then Rabbi Yossi not going to Rabbana. He's arguing the Chachamim because they seem to say that no matter what, the truma of the first one's truma on everything, as long as it didn't leave the shum which Chachamim gave, where it's between 1/40th and 1/60th. It says specifically a 50th, and that means I should go back to the Mishnah and do the line which I did not mention because the header in the Arts Going doesn't mention it. It should have. The line between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yossi, which is Chachamim, Trumas Harishon Truma. So the question is, when Chachamim said Trumas Harishon Truma, what's it? And Rabbi Yossi then said Im Tar Harishon Kashir and Trumas Hasheni Truma. So in Tavnei Kashir Torah, if you're going to say that when Rabbi Yossi said Kashir, it means Kashir Torah, Leis Rabbi Yossi Rabbanan. And Rabbi Yossi Rabbanan didn't give such a shir. They said whatever it is, 1/40th, 1/60th, 1/50th, it doesn't matter. The Truma of the first guy is Truma, the Truma second guy is not Truma. In Tavnei Kashir. But if you're going to say that Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yossi shir includes anything from 40th to 60th, not just the 50th, then Rabbi Yossi Rabbanan. Rabbi Yossi also goes like Rabbanan. In other words, they're both saying, Rabbi Yossi is explaining more, that as long as it's within the shir, it is a valid truma. The first guy's truma is valid truma for the entire amount. So note here in the from the Shulchan Aruch, one of them took truma and his friend did not know, and he came and did truma. And Mimachin says after they lied on each other, ain't truma sash ain't truma. The second guy's truma is nothing. They didn't lie to each other. Im tam rishon kashir ain't truma sash ain't truma. First guy takes the shir, the second guy's truma is not truma. If the first guy not take a shir, truma is named truma. The truma, both of them is truma, but the Shulchan Aruch itself does not specify. We're talking about the shir 1/50th or 1/40th, 1/60th. But it does paskin like Rabbi Yossi. The question is, what's the shir to which Rabbi Yossi is referring? Okay, the next part of Mishnah said this is when he. When the Akiva says Truma's name, Truma is when he didn't say anything. But if he designated somebody, and certainly is a shutuf to be Turim, then the Truma of the person who takes to the Shliach is Truma. So, and we said that if you want to say Batal Shlichos, if it's because before the Truma Seirov, the Truma is not valid. If it's after the Truma Seirov, it's too late. So in this, when it says, doesn't this argue with Shlakish? Number Shlokish, ain't them about the Shlichus B'dvarim. Once you make shlichus, you can't cancel with words, right? As the Gemara says, "Giddush daf nun tes lo asid even about the dibur." So how can you cancel with words? So in the fact, even according to Shlokish, we can explain it. Where he was mishana, right? He told the shliach, "Go make it in the north," and he put it in the south. But the truth is that it comes out, according to the Gra, that it does like Rish Lakish, because that's what the Gra says, because for Maisa, that's not the case of Mishnah. What we're saying is that our Mishnah would also agree in case the term Leis Lechavav B'tzaf and above the Kavav V'Darim. It will give Rish Lakish that case, but in the case Rish Lakish gives, right, the Edom Avato Shlichus V'Darim, their Mishnah is arguing. Because Mishnah say even there was no mistake about the shlichus, and our Mishnah says if there's no mistake, the shlichus is in effect. Okay, that brings us to the bottom of Kav Ches on the base and the two dots. So therefore, we will stop here for the day.